Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are hale and hearty. Well, I'm Satinder Kaur and today I'll be taking up lesson 5 of geography for class 9. And the name of the lesson is Natural Vegetation and Wildlife. Children, if you have observed the type of trees, bushes, grasses and birds in the fields, parks and around your home or school, you must have noticed that there is a lot of variation. India is a vast country and is one of the 12 mega biodiversity countries of the world. With about 47,000 plant species, India occupies 10th place in the world and 4th in Asia in plant diversity. India also has approximately 90,000 species of animals as well as a rich variety of fish in its fresh and marine waters. In this lesson, we shall talk about the diverse natural vegetation and wildlife in India in detail. Let's first understand what natural vegetation is. Natural vegetation refers to a plant community which has grown naturally without human aid and has been left undisturbed by humans for a long time. This is termed as a virgin vegetation. Thus, cultivated crops and fruits, orchards form part of vegetation but not natural vegetation. Children, do you know the virgin vegetation which are purely Indian are known as endemic or indigenous species, but those which have come from outside India are termed as exotic plants. Children, you must have heard the terms flora and fauna in the previous classes. The term flora is used to denote plants of a particular region or period. Similarly, the species of animals are referred to as fauna. The huge diversity in flora and fauna kingdom is due to a number of factors. The first factor is relief, which can be explained under two headings. The first one is land. Land affects the natural vegetation directly and indirectly. Do you expect the same type of vegetation in mountainous, plateau and plain areas or in dry and wet regions? The nature of land influences the type of vegetation. The fertile level land is generally devoted to agriculture. The undulating and rough terrains are areas where grassland and woodlands develop and give shelter to a variety of wildlife. Soil is another factor which affects natural vegetation. The soils also vary over space. Different types of soils provide basis for different types of vegetation. For instance, the sandy soils of the desert support cactus and thorny bushes, while wet, marshy deltaic soils support mangroves and deltaic vegetation. The hill slopes with some depth of soil have conical trees. The next major factor responsible for the variation in flora and fauna is climate. The climate affects flora and fauna in a number of ways. Let's first talk about temperature. The character and extent of vegetation are mainly determined by temperature along with humidity in the air, precipitation and soil. On the slopes of the Himalayas and the hills of the peninsula above the height of 915 meters, the fall in the temperature affects the types of vegetation and its growth and changes it from tropical to subtropical, temperate and alpine vegetation. Apart from temperature, photoperiod also affects natural vegetation of a place. Photoperiod is duration of sunlight. The variation in duration of sunlight at different places is due to differences in latitude, altitude, season and duration of the day. Due to longer duration of sunlight, trees grow faster in summer. Do you know, children, that the southern slopes in the Himalayan region are covered with thick vegetation cover as compared to northern slopes of the same hills because the southern slopes receive more sunlight and rainfall. Precipitation also affects natural vegetation. In India, almost the entire rainfall is brought in by the advancing southwest monsoon, which occur from June to September, and retreating northeast monsoons. Areas of heavy rainfall have more dense vegetation as compared to the areas of less rainfall. For instance, the western slopes of the Western Ghats are covered with thick forest as compared to the eastern slopes because eastern slopes are on the leeward side of the Western Ghats and hence receive scanty rainfall. Have you ever thought, children, as to why forests are important for human beings? Forests are renewable resources and play a major role in enhancing the quality of environment. They modify local climate, control soil erosion, regulate stream flow, support a variety of industries, provide livelihood for many communities, and offer scenic view for recreation. They also control wind force and temperature and cause rainfall. They provide humus to the soil and shelter to the wildlife. The vegetation cover of India in large parts is no more natural in the real sense, except in some inaccessible regions like the Himalayas, the hilly region of central India, and the Marusthali. The vegetation of most of the areas has been modified at some places or replaced or degraded by human occupancy. Children, according to India's State of Forest Report 2019, the forest and tree cover in India is 24.56% of the geographical area of the country. Children, now I want you to find out the name of the state having maximum area under the forest cover and also the name of the union territory having minimum area under forest cover. I'm sure you will be able to do that, right? Now let's move further and talk about ecosystem. Plants occur in distinct groups of communities in areas having similar climatic conditions. The nature of the plants in an area to a large extent determines the animal life in that area. When the vegetation is altered, the animal life also changes. All the plants and animals in an area are interdependent and interrelated to each other in their physical environment, thus forming an ecosystem. Human beings are also an integral part of the ecosystem. How do the human beings influence the ecology of a region? So children, human beings utilize the vegetation and wildlife. The greed of human beings leads to overutilization of these resources. They cut the trees and kill the animals, creating ecological imbalance. As a result, some of the plants and animals have reached the verge of extinction. Now let's move further and talk about various types of vegetation. 5 major types of vegetation may be identified in our country, and these are tropical evergreen forests, tropical deciduous forests, tropical thorn forests and scrubs, montane forests, and mangrove forests. First, let's talk about tropical evergreen forests. These forests are restricted to areas of heavy rainfall of the Western Ghats and the island groups of Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar, upper parts of Assam and Tamil Nadu coast. They are at their best in areas having more than 200 centimeters of rainfall with a short dry season. The trees reach great heights up to 60 meters or even above. Since the region is warm and wet throughout the year, it has a luxuriant vegetation of all kinds, trees, shrubs, and creepers, giving it a multi-layered structure. There is no definite time for trees to shed their leaves. As such, these forests appear green all the year round. Some of the commercially important trees of this forest are ebony, mahogany, rosewood, rubber, and cinchona. The common animals found in these forests are elephants, monkey, lemur, and deer. The one-horned rhinoceros are also found in the jungles of Assam and West Bengal. Besides these animals, plenty of birds, bats, sloth, scorpions, and snails are also found in these jungles. Now let's talk about tropical deciduous forests. These are the most widespread forests of India. They are also called the monsoon forests and spread over the region, receiving rainfall between 200 centimeters and 70 centimeters. Trees of this forest type shed their leaves for about 6 to 8 weeks in dry summer. On the basis of the availability of water, these forests are further divided into moist and dry deciduous. The former is found in areas receiving rainfall between 200 and 100 centimeters. These forests exist, therefore, mostly in the eastern part of the country. Northeastern states along the foothills of the Himalayas, Jharkhand, West Odisha, and on the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. Teak is the most dominant species of this forest. Bamboos, sal, shisham, sandalwood, khair, kusum, arjun, mulberry are other commercially important species. The dry deciduous forests are found in areas having rainfall between 100 centimeters and 70 centimeters. These forests are found in the rainier parts of the peninsular plateau and the plains of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. There are open stretches in which teak, sal, peepal, neem, etc. grow. A large part of this region has been cleared for cultivation and some parts are used for grazing. In these forests, the common animals found are lion, tiger, pig, deer, and elephant. A huge variety of birds, lizards, snakes, and tortoise are also found here. Next, we shall talk about the thorn forests and scrubs. In regions with less than 70 centimeters of rainfall, the natural vegetation consists of thorny trees and bushes. This type of vegetation is found in the northwestern part of the country, including semi-arid areas of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, and Haryana. Acacias, palms, euphorbias, and cacti are the main plant species. In these forests, the common animals are rats, mice, rabbits, fox, wolf, tiger, lion, wild ass, horses, and camels. There is another type of forest called montane forests. In mountainous areas, the decrease in temperature with increasing altitude leads to the corresponding change in natural vegetation. As such, there is a succession of natural vegetation belts in the same order as we see from the tropical to the tundra region. The wet temperate type of forests are found between a height of 1000 and 2000 meters. Evergreen, broad-leaf trees such as oaks and chestnuts predominate. Between 1500 and 3000 meters, temperate forests containing coniferous trees like pine, deodar, silver fir, spruce, and cedar are found. These forests cover mostly the southern slopes of the Himalayas, places having high altitude in southern and northeast India. At higher elevations, temperate grasslands are common. At high altitudes, generally more than 3600 meters above the sea level, temperate forests and grasslands give way to the alpine vegetation. Silver fir, junipers, pines and birches are the common trees of these forests. However, they get progressively stunted as they approach the snow line. Ultimately, through shrubs and scrubs, they merge into the alpine grasslands. These are used extensively for grazing by nomadic tribes like the Gujars and the Bakarwals. The common animals found in these forests are Kashmiri stag, spotted deer, wild sheep, jack, rabbit, Tibetan antelope, yak, snow leopard, squirrels, shaggy horn wild ibex, bear and rare red panda, sheep and goats with thick hair. Now let's talk about another type of forest called mangrove forests. The mangrove tidal forests are found in the areas of coasts influenced by tides. Mud and silt get accumulated on such coasts. Dense mangroves are the common varieties with roots of the plants submerged under water. The deltas of the Ganga, the Mahanadi, the Krishna, the Godavari and the Kaveri are covered by such vegetation. In the Ganga-Brahmaputra delta, Sundri trees are found which provide durable hard timber. Palm, coconut, kura, agar also grow in some parts of the delta. Royal Bengal tiger is the famous animal found in this forest. Turtles, crocodiles, gharials and snakes are also found here. Now children, can you think of what will happen if plants and animals disappear from the earth's surface? Can the human being survive under such a situation? Why is biodiversity necessary and why should it be conserved? I'm sure you can find the answer to this. So children, that was all about natural vegetation. Now let's move further and talk about some plants that have medicinal value. Children, do you know that India is known for its herbs and spices from ancient times? Some 2000 plants have been described in Ayurveda and at least 500 are in regular use. The World Conservation Union's Red List has named 352 medicinal plants, of which 52 are critically threatened and 49 are endangered. The commonly used plants in India are Sarpagandha, which is used to treat blood pressure. It is found only in India. The next one is Jamun. The juice from ripe fruit is used to prepare vinegar, which is carminative and diuretic and has digestive properties. The powder of the seed is used for controlling diabetes. Next we have Arjun. The fresh juice of leaves is a cure for earache. It is also used to regulate blood pressure. Next we have Babool. You must have heard this name, children. Leaves of this plant are used as a cure for eye sores. Its gum is used as a tonic. Then we have Neem. It has high antibiotic and antibacterial properties. Next we have Tulsi plant, which is very common. It is used to cure cough and cold. Next we have Kachnar. It is used to cure asthma and ulcers. The buds and roots are good for digestive problems. Children, you have to identify more medicinal plants in your area. Which plants are used as medicines by local people to cure some diseases? And I'm sure you will be able to do that. Yes, you can ask your parents or other elders in the family. Now, let's talk about wildlife. Like its flora, India is also rich in its fauna. It has approximately 90,000 animal species. The country has about 2,000 species of birds. They constitute 13% of the world's total. There are 2,546 species of fish which account for nearly 12% of the world's stock. It also shares between 5 and 8% of the world's amphibians, reptiles and mammals. The elephants are the most majestic animals among the mammals. They are found in the hot wet forests of Assam, Karnataka and Kerala. One-horned rhinoceros are the other animals which live in swampy and marshy lands of Assam and West Bengal. Arid areas of the Rann of Kutch and the Thar Desert are the habitat for wild ass and camels respectively. Indian bison, nilgai or blue bull, chausinga, four-horned antelope, gazelle and different species of deer are some other animals found in India. It also has several species of monkeys. India is the only country in the world that has both tigers and lions. The natural habitat of the Indian lion is the Gir forest in Gujarat. Tigers are found in the forests of Madhya Pradesh, the Sundarbans of West Bengal and the Himalayan region. Leopards too are the members of the cat family. They are important among animals of prey. Children, do you know the Gir forest is the last remaining habitat of the Asiatic lion? The Himalayas harbor a hardy range of animals which survive in extreme cold. Ladakh's freezing high altitudes are a home to yak, the shaggy horned wild dogs weighing around 1 ton, the Tibetan antelope and blue sheep, wild sheep and the kyang, that is Tibetan wild ass. Furthermore, the ibex, bear, snow leopard and very rare red panda are found in certain pockets. In the rivers, lakes and coastal areas, turtles, crocodiles and gharials are found. Bird life in India is also very colorful. Peacocks, pheasants, ducks, parakeets, cranes and pigeons are some of the birds inhabiting the forests and wetlands of the country. Now I shall tell you about migratory birds. Some of the wetlands of India are popular with migratory birds. During winter, birds such as Siberian crane come in large number. One such place favorable with birds is the Rann of Kutch. At a place where the desert merges with the sea, flamingo with their brilliant pink plumage come in thousands to build nest mounds from the salty mud and raise their younger ones. It is one among many extraordinary sights in the country. Is it not a rich natural heritage of ours, children? We have selected our crops from a biodiverse environment, that is, from the reserve of edible plants. We also experimented and selected many medicinal plants. The animals were selected from large stock provided by nature as milch animal. They also provided us draught power transportation, meat, eggs. The fish provide nutritive food. The main causes for this major threat to nature are hunting by greedy hunters for commercial purposes, pollution due to chemical and industrial waste, acid deposits, introduction of alien species, and reckless cutting of the forests to bring land under cultivation and inhabitation are also responsible for the imbalance. To protect the flora and fauna of the country, the government has taken many steps. Apart from this, 14 biosphere reserves have been set up in the country to protect flora and fauna. 4 out of these, the Sundarbans in the West Bengal, Nanda Devi in Uttarakhand, the Gulf of Mannar in Tamil Nadu, and the Nilgiris have been included in the World Network of Biosphere Reserves. Some of these biosphere reserves are Sundarbans, Gulf of Mannar, the Nilgiris, Nanda Devi, Nokrek, Great Nicobar, Manas, Similipal, etc. Next, financial and technical assistance is provided to many botanical gardens by the government since 1992. Project Tiger, Project Rhino, and many other eco-developmental projects have been introduced. 103 national parks and 535 wildlife sanctuaries and zoological gardens are set up to take care of natural heritage. All of us must realize the importance of the natural ecosystem for our own survival. It is possible if indiscriminate destruction of natural environment is put to an immediate end. Children, that's all about the lesson. Now it's time to take up a few questions. Ready? First we have some multiple choice questions and you have to choose the correct option. Ready? The first question is, which type of vegetation does not belong to the category of natural vegetation? And the options are horticulture, forests, mangroves or shrubs. And the correct option is yes, horticulture. The next question is, what is the position of India in the world with regard to plant diversity? And the options are first, 10th, 12th or none of these. And the correct option is 10th. The next question is, which term is used to denote animal species of a particular region or period? And the options are fauna, ferns, flora or none of these. And the correct option is fauna. Very good. The next question is, which of the following factors influence the type and distribution of natural vegetation? And the options are landforms, soil, climate or all of the above. And the correct option is yes, all of the above. The next question is, which of the following types of vegetation grows in wet, marshy soil? And the options are grasslands, mangroves, cactus or alpine vegetation. And the correct option is mangroves. Very good. Let's move on to the next question. Where are Royal Bengal tigers found? And the options are Mahanadi Delta, Godavari Delta, Kaveri Delta or Sundarban Delta. And the correct option is yes, Sundarban Delta. Now the last question. Which one of the following is a biosphere reserve of India? And the options are Gir Forest, the Nilgiris, Kanheri, or none of these. And the correct option is yes, the Nilgiris. Very good. Now let's move ahead and match these columns. First we have Rajaji National Park, which is in Uttarakhand. Very good. Then we have Sanjay Gandhi National Park, which is located in Maharashtra. Next we have Rajgir National Park, which is in, yes, Bihar. The next one is Similipal National Park. Children, Similipal National Park is in Odisha. Next we have Kaziranga National Park, which is in Assam. Next is Gir National Park, which is in, yes, Gujarat. The last one is Sariska Wildlife Sanctuary, and it is in Rajasthan. So children, with this we come to the end of today's video. I'm sure you liked it and got to know a great deal about different types of natural vegetation and the variety of wildlife found in India. You also learnt about the various factors that affect natural vegetation and also about the various steps taken by the government to protect the flora and the fauna of the country. That's all for now. I'll be back with some more interesting videos. Till then, stay healthy, stay happy.